The market capitalization of the coin is used to summarize all that is taught in this video. I would also like to remind you to give my channel a like and subscribe to it so that you can stay up to date on future XRP news, as well as other cryptocurrency news in general. Take a look at this now, shall we? The SEC is being challenged by Ripple in a significant judicial appeal. On the other hand, before we go any further, there is a brand new cryptocurrency airdrop that is currently taking place on Telegram and is set to start at any moment. I would ask that you make sure that you take part in this airdrop. Within the video's description is where you will find the link. Let's go with our video and make sure you don't miss out on this opportunity. With the submission of a cross-appeal to the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, Ripple Labs is pressing forward with its ongoing legal battle against the United States Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), which is becoming an increasingly fierce conflict. The SEC has recently filed an appeal against a finding that was favorable to Ripple earlier this year. This move is not only a response to that appeal, but it also replies to the appeal. On the other hand, it disputes a previous order that had classed certain sales of XRP to institutional investors as securities. The ongoing struggle that Ripple is experiencing with the regulatory agency is of the utmost importance, and this particular time is of exceptional significance. On social media, Stuart Alderety, who is the chief legal officer of Ripple, made the announcement that the appeal was being filed. It was also brought to his attention that this particular aspect of the litigation will be more concentrated this time around. Because of this, the Supreme Court of Canada will not be able to make any new arguments or request any extra material from Ripple. This is due to the fact that the appeals court will only take into consideration the evidence that is currently available. Ripple is demanding that the case be re-examined specifically regarding the question of whether or not transactions involving XRP satisfy the elements that are regarded to be securities according to the application of the Howey test. The Supreme Court of the United States issued a ruling in 1946 that led to the development of a method known as the Howey test. In order to ascertain whether a transaction represents an investment contract, it is utilized to take into consideration characteristics such as financial investment and profit expectations that are associated with the efforts of the issuer. It is possible that Ripple's request for a new inspection will have a significant impact on the manner in which these criteria are applied to cryptocurrencies, which may lead to modifications to the standard operating procedures of the sector. The complaint filed by Ripple also raises questions about the SEC's ambiguous attitude regarding the application of securities rules to digital assets. Since a long time ago, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has maintained that Ripple's XRP sales ought to be classified as securities, calling for compliance with federal regulations. The difficulties that Ripple is experiencing, on the other hand, brings to light the complexity that surrounds regulatory regulations. As a result, many individuals working in the cryptocurrency industry are uncertain as to whether or not they comply with these criteria. In a prior decision, the court determined that the sale of XRP to the general public did not qualify as securities. It is possible that Ripple and the SEC may continue their legal battle until the middle of the following year, when the court gives its approval to a new debt. However, the court did identify early sales to institutional investors as unregistered securities, which resulted in Ripple being subjected to a substantial penalty exceeding $125 million. Ripple plans to reverse this penalty and reassess the classification of those original purchases by conducting a fresh study. This will reevaluate the classification of those initial purchases. The outcome of this cross-appeal could potentially have significant repercussions for the Bitcoin environment, which is a phenomena that encompasses a wide range of situations. It is possible that a ruling in favor of Ripple will limit the authority of the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) over digital assets, so providing cryptocurrency companies with increased autonomy. On the other hand, a decision that is favorable to the Securities and Exchange Commission could expand its capacity to enforce securities laws, therefore underlining the necessity of regulatory compliance. This would be a positive development. It is not a very fresh occurrence that the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is a regulatory organization in the United States, has been monitoring various companies that deal in cryptocurrencies. Currently, a great deal of attention is being paid to the case that the plaintiff has filed against Ripple. A request for a cross-appeal has been lodged by Ripple, which is the most current development in this unfolding situation. There is nothing particularly unusual about the fact that the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is a regulatory organization in the United States, has been targeting a number of Bitcoin companies. Currently, a great deal of attention is being paid to the case that the plaintiff has filed against Ripple. A request for a cross-appeal has been lodged by Ripple, which is the most current development in this unfolding situation. The cryptocurrency known as Ripple XRP, on the other hand, has been able to maintain a positive market sentiment in spite of the litigation, which suggests that there is a prospect for price increases. As of the time that this article was written, the price of XRP was trading at 51 cents. This represents a modest reduction in price that has occurred over the course of the past few hours. On the other hand, the alternative cryptocurrency has shown signs of increased activity over the course of the past few months, both in terms of activity on the blockchain and other improvements. The fact that the company has demonstrated that it has a large potential for performance in 2025 by introducing its Bitcoin custody services this month is more evidence that the company has done so. In accordance with the information presented in this article, There are further alternative cryptocurrencies such as Uniswap. Investors in Ripple and Netgraph have been experiencing a roller coaster ride. Ripple and the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) are now engaged in a legal dispute, and the most recent development indicates that the case may continue until the year 2025. Given the existing condition of affairs, it is for this reason. Investors are looking for innovative ways to protect their earnings, and they are investing their money into alternative cryptocurrencies that show potential. This is a considerable number of investors, expert in the law, in order to bring attention to the ongoing misunderstanding that exists within the government regarding the classification of XRP. Fred Rispoli has undertaken this endeavor. In his statement, he added that the case that is being heard in California, which is based on state law, does not immediately influence the problem that is being discussed between Ripple and the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is based on federal law. There could be some of them. Due to the fact that I have been sleeping on this matter, their lawsuit in California, I need to quickly bring myself up to speed on what is now taking place. It is important to keep in mind that the subject of whether or not XRP is considered a security under state law is still being debated. This is due to the fact that Judge Torres declared that Ripple's sales of XRP to institutional investors violated federal securities regulations. It is a very important turn of events that has occurred. This request was made. There is a possibility that the verdict in the case concerning Ripple XRP will take longer to reach as a consequence of the recent development. According to the price charts that are provided on CoinMarket, the price of the cryptocurrency known as Ripple is displaying a trend that is not particularly impressive. Because of the chance that the litigation will continue until 2025, investors' faith in the cryptocurrency has been decreasing ever since the Securities and Exchange Commission began its appeal at the beginning of October. This is because of the possibility that the litigation will continue until 2025. A number of investors who are currently in possession of Ripple coins are exploring for alternatives. The fact that the relative strength index of Ripple over the past 14 days has fallen below 50 is indicative of a significant downward trend with significant implications. The cryptocurrency known as Ripple XRP, on the other hand, has been able to maintain a positive market sentiment in spite of the litigation, which suggests that there is a prospect for price increases. Over the course of the past several hours, there has been a modest decline in the price of XRP. As at the time that this article was written, the price of the stock was 51 cents. The cryptocurrency that is an alternative, on the other hand, has shown signs of increased activity over the course of the past several months, both in terms of activity on the chain and other improvements. The fact that the company has also released its Bitcoin custody services this month is evidence that it has a great potential for performance in the year 2025 as well. According to the information presented in this article, there are further alternative cryptocurrencies that have the potential to have considerable growth and performance in the year 2025. Some examples of these cryptocurrencies include Uniswap, WorldCoin, and ByteDance. It should be noted that the material that has been supplied is not intended to serve as business advice. In the event that any investments are made on the basis of the information that is provided on this page, there is no responsibility for those investments. Prior to making any choice on investments, we strongly recommend performing independent research and talking with a professional who is educated in the field.